I'm just testing. You can hear okay? Okay. All right. So I would like to welcome everybody to the Occupational Therapy Assistant Program Pinning Ceremony for 2021. For those of you watching at home, my name is Dr. Krycha, and I am the Program Director. We have a few guests with us this afternoon that I would like to acknowledge. We have 3 members from the Board of Trustees, Mr. Aldama, the Secretary and Treasurer, Mr. Judson, the Chair, and Ms. Holt, Member. I would like to acknowledge Dr. Fagan, President, District President, his wife, Mrs. Fagan, Dean Featherston, Dean of Health Professions and Waxahachie, Dr. Carol Haynes, Vice President of Academic Services, Dean Underwood, Dean of Midlothian. And Dr. Fagan, we would like for you to come up at this time and just give a welcome to our graduates.
Thank you, Dr. Krycha. Good morning, everyone. Let me officially, on behalf of our Navarro College Board of Trustees, and 3 of them that you met already, the First Lady of Navarro College, Liz Fagan, our outstanding faculty and staff that we have throughout our entire Navarro College district, but most importantly, our Navarro College alumni and students, collectively, we congratulate you on completing your OTA educational journey with Navarro College. I also want to take a minute to thank our OTA faculty, staff, and administration for their professionalism, commitment, and ability to adapt and change during a global pandemic to ensure that you, our OTA students, soon to be OTA graduates, are fully prepared to enter your profession. Students, would you please stand and join me in thanking your OTA faculty and staff. At Navarro College, we refer to our history, tradition, legacy, and values as Bulldog Pride. And it's a culture that is created through events like today's pinning ceremony. The origins for today's ceremony can be traced back to the Crusades of the 12th century, when the Knights Order of St. John the Baptist would initiate new monks by having them take an oath in which they pledged to care and tend for the injured. At the conclusion of that ceremony, each new member was presented a Maltese cross, which symbolized both the oath that they had taken and their membership in the order. More modern elements of your ceremony today are traced back to 1860, when Florence Nightingale received the Red Cross of St. George. She was so honored by the recognition that from that point forward, she granted to each of her graduating nursing students a medal, again, to symbolize the oath that they would take to care and tend for the injured and their entry into the profession. So while today's pinning ceremony has a great deal of history, tradition, legacy, and values associated with it, it's also very special because it recognizes you, our OTA students, your commitment, your hard work, and your dedication on your journey with Navarro College. It's special today because it symbolizes your transition as an OTA student to an OTA professional. It's special today because you will take an oath and pledge to care and tend to the injured. And most importantly, it provides you an opportunity to celebrate this accomplishment with each other, your faculty, and staff. So as you enter the profession over the next few days and weeks, I want you to remember that you represent, in general, the history, tradition, legacy, and values of Navarro College, but more specifically, the history, tradition, legacy, and values of this OTA program and the profession. So as you pursue your personal and professional goals, make sure that you always do so with a great deal of bulldog pride. Again, congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Fagan. Okay, so now we have some awards that we would like to present. Mrs. Huff will announce the awards. Mrs. McLeod will be giving them out.
The first awards are Fieldwork Awards. There are Fieldwork Rock Stars Awards. And the first one goes to a student who's just an extremely hard worker. In both of her site visits, both of her CIs indicated that by the second day, they were ready to give their entire caseload to her. She wanted it. They couldn't give her patients soon enough. And she was literally ready to employ when she walked in. And she is probably one of the hardest working students I've ever seen come through our program, and that's Heather Cruz. Heather, you can take your mask off with the picture. Congratulations. The next student, this award I chose her because not only are the professional skills that Heather showed and the knowledge base that Heather shows important, but we preach to our students, you have to have a therapeutic use of self. It's not just what you know, it's how you use yourself as a therapist. And this student showed that maturity way beyond her 19 years of age. This student got a patient out of bed who was depressed because of a death of a spouse, and this patient had not been out of bed in over a year. And my 19-year-old Trinity Zip got her out of bed into therapy. So next one goes to Trinity Zip. Congratulations. The next awards are for valedictorian. Obviously, that's the highest GPA. And for Corsicana, that's Miss Amy Stevens. The next award for the Midlothian campus is Samuel Nazar. Our next two awards, well, it's one award, one for each campus. For the Corsicana campus, it's for Student of the Year, and Student of the Year is decided on by all of the faculty, and we look for students who go above and beyond. It's not about their grades, it's not about how they did or didn't do in field work, it's about who they are as a person, who goes above and beyond, who's helping their fellow students, who volunteers when instructors need a volunteer to be a leader, and that's Christina Lacefield. And the same thing for the Midlothian campus. This student was always willing to help if you needed somebody to do something or volunteer or help another student. Madison Lemons always stepped up.
Okay, so at this point, when your name is called, please come up to receive your pin. Alexander Adebimbo. Summer Balderas. Deidre Bevers. Alicia Blanco. Hannah Bonham. Kelsey Carter. Candace David. Latoya Dawkins. Kirsten Dotson. Heather Cruz. Christina Lacefield. Madison Lemons. Megan Lewis. Ambria Mabry. Lisa Mayfield. Samuel Nazar. Gisela Sandoval. Alyssa Santos. Shanda Shin. Yasmin Soto. Amy Stevens. Trinity Zip. At this time, we are going to have the affirmation of ethics. So I would like for Heather, Alicia, and Deidre to come to the podium. And if I can have the class of 2021, please stand.
Sorry, I'm short. Principle 1, beneficence. Occupational therapy personnel shall demonstrate a concern for the well-being and safety of the recipients of their services. If it is your intention to abide by this principle, please say, I will. I will. Principle number 2, non-maleficence. Occupational therapy personnel shall intentionally refrain from action that cause harm. If this is your intention to abide by this principle, please say, I will. I will.
Principle 3, autonomy and confidentiality. Occupational therapy personnel shall respect the right of the individual to self-determination. If it is your intention to abide by this principle, please say, I will. I will. Principle 4, social justice. Occupational therapy personnel shall provide services in a fair and equitable manner. If it is your intention to abide by this principle, please say, I will.
Principle number 5, procedural justice. Occupational therapy personnel shall comply with institutional laws and AOTA documents applicable to the profession of occupational therapy. If it is your intention to abide by this principle, please say, I will. I will. Principle 6, veracity. Occupational therapy personnel shall provide comprehensive, accurate, and objective information when representing the profession. If it is your intention to abide by this principle, please say, I will. I will. Principle 7, fidelity. Occupational therapy personnel shall treat colleagues and other professionals with respect, fairness, discretion, and integrity. If it is your intention to abide by this principle, please say, I will. I will.
You can sit. Thank you, guys. As we come to the close of our ceremony today, I would like to invite Dean Featherston to the podium to give you guys some closing words of encouragement.
Thank you, Dr. Krejci. I don't know that I have words of encouragement to you. Probably more specifically, you have been encouragement to me, and you've been encouragement to our faculty and to our college over the past 2 years. When we spoke to last year's group at this time, they were about 6 weeks into the pandemic, right? Things kind of went south on us at spring break of last year. That was your first year. And then in the second year, we were still dealing with those issues as they related to the pandemic, but you persevered. You not only persevered, you thrived in this environment. And I think that that speaks well to the occupation and the profession that you were about to engage in, is that we deal with challenges. We help our patients deal with challenges. We help them adapt and overcome whatever those issues are. So that, to me, is the encouragement that you have demonstrated over the past 2 years. But I want to talk specifically for just a very brief moment about the pin that you are wearing now that we've given to each one of you. Dr. Fagan spoke of the history of pinning and what that represents, but you know, that's not the only example in our lives, how we use symbols to represent things that have occurred with us or to us or for us. And there are many kinds of symbols that we all have taken part in or we may participate in our lives. Some have more meaning and some have more value than others. The pin that you are wearing right now is a visible sign for people to see where you have come from. It doesn't necessarily show where you're going, but it certainly shows where you are coming from. It's a symbol for people to see what your background is, what your legacy has been, and what your opportunities are in the future. In the Christian faith, they say that baptism is an outward and visible sign of an inward and visible change. None of us in this room, save yourself, know the change that has occurred in your life during the past 2 years. You have students, you have peers who have experienced similar things, but each one of you knows the change that occurred in your life that brought you to today. I wear a wedding ring on my left finger. I've worn it for 34 years. It's just a visible symbol that tells people I'm married, but I and my wife know what went into having that wedding ring on my left hand for 34 years. It's a symbol that people see, and it may not mean much to them, oh, he's married, but I know what went into that, and certainly my wife knows what went into that. And I'm more thankful that she's still wearing it after 34 years than probably I am. I wear a class ring on my left finger that says, I went to this school and I got such and such a degree. You look at it and you just see a big gold ring on my finger. I know what went into it. The pin that you're wearing today, wear proudly. This is a health professions pin. We don't give these out just to everybody, right? You earn this. This isn't a freebie. You know what it means. You know what it represents. I want you to wear this for the rest of your academic careers and the rest of your professional careers to remind you of what you did to earn this pin. It wasn't freely given, and it wasn't lightly given. I have tremendous confidence in your abilities. And one of the reasons I have tremendous confidence in your abilities moving forward is I know the value and the quality of the professors who have spent the last 2 years with you. I know, to some degree, what blood, sweat, and tears they poured into your ability to succeed, into your presence today. You had an outstanding faculty that have prepared you for any eventuality that will occur in your profession. You've got a good foundation, you've got the good critical learning and critical thinking skills to prepare you to help deal with your patients effectively and efficiently and compassionately. The thing I want you to remember moving forward is we hold people's lives in our hands. I told you this 2 years ago when we met at orientation. It is just as true today. Now you hold your patients' lives in your hands. Cherish that responsibility. Cherish that opportunity, and cherish your involvement at Navarro College. We look forward to seeing all of you at graduation next Wednesday night. And I want you to have that pin on with that ribbon on the outside of your cap and gown so we can see you walk across and everybody knows you're one of Navarro College's OTA students. So with that, I wish you well, Godspeed, and God's bless. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Featherston. And again, thank you for all spending this afternoon with us, and this concludes our ceremony.